Hello, everybody. Today we have three recent TTMs to review. And this first one was really confusing because it came to my street address. And I haven't used my street address for TTM or for mail really for over close to 3 years, probably. And anyway, this one is Jackie Brandt. Adding to the confusion was that I just got Jackie Brandt back earlier this year for my 64 top set. Back into my old Access database to see if I can figure out some answer some questions I had about this. And sure enough, I did have an old request out. I sent a 64 tops on April 16th, 2016 from the street address. So here we are a couple days short of 2,500 days later, and I get back these postcards inside. No sign of my 64 tops, of course, but that's okay because, like I said, I did get it a couple weeks ago. But these postcards are really neat because you can kind of see the lineage of his early career represented on the photos. He came up with St. Louis, shown here in 56, and was traded to the Giants, the New York Giants, with Hall of Famer Red Schoendienst after just 27 games with St. Louis. They didn't really feel like they really had room for him, and they were worried he was going to be drafted and have to serve in the war. He played 56 games with New York, and wouldn't you know it, he was drafted and had to serve in the war. After serving, when he returned to the Giants, they were in San Francisco, shown here. Wouldn't you know it? And from there, he moved on to Baltimore, which is where he really had the best years of his career. 6 years in Baltimore, two-time All-Star, won a Gold Glove. Although his Gold Glove was in '59 with the Giants, the San Francisco Giants. And I got looking at these photos, and I thought, hey, I wonder if this is an early photo of Candlestick. I thought that was kind of cool. And I got looking at the scoreboard, didn't quite match. Then I'm like, well, okay, he's in his road uniform. So then I started looking up road teams. And every time I found his scoreboard in that position, like, well, these are light towers. There's no light towers in this photo. And I embarrassingly had to look up two more teams before I realized, well, which NL team wouldn't have light towers in 1960? Yeah, Chicago. So I pulled up a picture of Wrigley Field from about that time, and sure enough, that photo is taken at Wrigley Field. It should be noted, this I think is actually just a photo that's been printed. It has a feel of a photo, card stock, no markings on the back. But these two are actual postcards with all the appropriate markings. And this one has a perfect feel and look of a postcard. This one feels more like a photo. It's kind of got a gloss to it, but it has the markings, correct markings on the back. And even if you can look through, it might not show up, but you can see where it's the back has been stamped on there. Anyway, okay, that's it for Jackie Brandt. Up next, another player I've gotten fairly recently. I don't intend to double up all the time, but sometimes I do. And I realized this player perfectly hit two collections for me. And whenever that happens, I'm like sure to get something out that sort of encompasses both things. This player falls into the Pacific Northwest or Seattle baseball collection and the knuckleball collection. No, obviously it's not Jim Bouton, but I had to send a custom when I realized that Mr. Wilbur Wood played for the Rainiers, and I'm just realizing how bad my shadows are today. I was lucky enough, like I said, to be able to find this photo, and slapped it on a 64 custom, and he was good enough to sign it for me. Sometimes he'll personalize. He did not here. I don't mind it when players do personalize, but it does take up more space on the photo. And this is such a cool picture that I'm glad that it turned out the way that it did. Wood is from Cambridge, Massachusetts. Easy for me to say. And he lives currently in Bedford. But it was his dream as a young man to pitch for the Red Sox, which he did as a reliever, marginally effective reliever, in 61, 62, and 63. He was optioned to Seattle a few times over that period. And he was really good in 64, which is why I put him on a 64 here. He had an ERA of 2.30 over 211 innings. Eventually, the Red Sox ran out of options for him, and they let him go to Pittsburgh. And the dream was dead. But Wood, as you know, went on to pitch many years and become one of the great, probably top 10 knuckleball pitchers of all time. On any list that you see, would be in that top 10. And if he's not, it's not a very good list. Speaking of all-time great top 10 knuckleball pitchers, another guy I have to get. I only send about once a year, but 5 of 5, care of home, California. For those of you that do a lot of TTMing, you might have figured this out. Sure enough, Charlie Hough. 1, 2, 3, score, and a leaf. And I have a couple others, like I said. Where's my... Oh, here we go. Hopefully I don't have these, so that would be embarrassing. Let's see, what's that first one? This is my top section. That's a 77. So that'll go... Oh, no, this has got to go before the 78. It's got to be right. And then onto my Fleers. There's Fleer. That's 92, so the 94 will go after that. Oh, I need 93. There we go. Upper Deck. Yada, yada, yada. Upper Deck. And there is... He was with the White Sox before the Marlins, so that's got to be the lower numbered card. Pardon me. This is really hard to do. Score, which are right there. That's the 91, 90. Leaf, Bowman, Pinnacle, Ultra, and there's another Leaf. So that one goes there, if I got my years right. Okay, we did it. Whew. I think I need to send to Charlie Hough again. What do you think? 6, 8, 10, 12 months. I'll send again. And, of course, I get... Sometimes some are given to me. I pick them up at shows when I see them. I trade for them when I can. I just like having a lot of Charlie Hough cards. It's no crime. And it's no crime that you join me for this little recall of what I got. I appreciate it. I hope you have a beautiful week. Until next time, remember, we don't count subscribers, we count friends.